Hey everybody, in this video we're going to be making a Wrath Rattle. And so for those of you who are curious as to what this is a spiritual self-defense weapon that we've concocted together in order to function as a spiritual billy club, taser, self-defense tool that's intended to also hit back. And for a lot of you out there, this might be something that you could use. Now, this is something that anyone can make at home. As we go through this video, you'll see there is the bare bones how to make it, how to do a little bit extra, and how to do a lot of bit extra. And it's very highly customizable. And so that's also going to be something to remember. Like, this is something that you can work with whatever you got to make something that will function very well for you. So what this is basically a tool to strike back at any kind of imposing wills, spirits, intentions, energies, and people trying to impose themselves or impose an attack or psychically vampirize or energetically drain or infect or contaminate or corrupt anything you've got going on in your fields, as well as also strike back at anyone who might be pushing their will or their intentions or control magics or any kind of thoughts or unwelcome messages or communications into your field, into your spirit, into your own psychic receptors. This is going to not only send back what you are being sent, but it's going to break it up, and then it's going to rewrite the energy that they sent to you and send it right back in perfect proportion with a sting, a burn, a sour, and a little bit of freak out bitter. The reason we do that is because we want to send a message of, I am not the one with whom to f***. But first, check out this shirt. Robert made this, and isn't it just the most bitchin' thing you've ever seen? Robert is an absolute wizard when it comes to any kind of digital art. So this is going to be turned into merch, so pay close attention. If you've ever found yourself in the position of being the 11th hour cleanup crew, right? The one who kind of has to come in, solve all the problems, spiritual or mundane, people not letting you know until it's almost too late, people not really thinking about what they're doing until it's already gone too far. This is absolutely the shirt for you. This is the shirt of the real spiritual practitioner, right? The 11th hour cleanup crew. And you gotta see the back on this as well, because this turned out, again, bitchin' is the only term I could use. I've never seen a more perfect title for what it is. So for a lot of you, I'm sure you can relate. And so stay tuned, pay close attention to what's up here and on Son of Celine, because we're gonna have some merch. T-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, whole 9 yards. Those of us who are members of the 11th hour cleanup crew definitely need some representation. What are we going to do with this here? Like I said, this is going to be, you can make this all kinds of different ways. We've got 3 different ways. There's the bare bones, there's extra, and then there's super extra. It's also something that you can carry around with yourself, right? If you need to shake it off when you are driving home from work or on your lunch break, or maybe you're in a space where, look, you can't just start busting out incense and purifying herbs and start casting spells or banging bowls and gongs. You're maybe already in a spot where it's very difficult to get centered because somebody is or something is imposing their energies or their will into your space or into you. This is also, again, a way to have a ready-made weapon to fight them off. The cool thing is also it stays within the laws of proportion and equivalent exchange. So you don't have to worry about any kind of spiritual repercussions from the cosmos with this, right? A lot of people are always worried about things like karma and consequences. Look, as long as you focus on precision and proportion, you are always going to be okay. So long as you are not giving back more than what you get, and so long as you are only sending it back to where it actually comes from, you don't have to worry about repercussions in that way. A lot of the times when it comes to spiritual combat, people often mess up because they send back 10 when they only get 3, or they, aim really wide and they get a lot of people caught in the crossfire and the crosshairs, and that is where people rightfully start to have to pay up when it comes to any kind of repercussions. This does not work that way. In fact, you can't even make it work if nothing is going on. This is designed to only work when you are being attacked and you are shaking it. And so we've got that extra fail-safe in there. I do want to talk a little bit about the correct target. Ooh, deja vu. When it comes to the right target, if you've been hanging out with me in person lately or talking to me on the phone, or maybe you've gotten a reading with me, you notice I've busted this out and started giving a bit of a shake. I've done this in situations where I didn't even know where the, hostile energy or the hostile will or the hostile entity was, or where it was coming from. It was kind of hidden. It was hiding back, even hiding behind the person I was talking to. Doing a reading for a gal who had a lot of weird attachments that were trying to keep holding on to her from a tarot community that she had left. And I could tell that she wasn't the one who was holding all of that negativity, but I could tell it was trying to move through her or even drive me away from her, started shaking it. Even she was feeling it too, things kind of falling off. Again, shards of stabbing, burny, stingy energy going right back to where it goes. That is what this does. Even if you don't know where it's coming from, you can't miss. So it's definitely a tool you don't need to be afraid to have. What this also does is that it sends back, again, the proportionate amount of energy with that burn, that stab, that bite, and that sting, but also make sure that that energy gets stuck in their field, wherever it's coming from, whether it is a spirit or it is a person or whatever is going on there, so that they can deal with it. This can also be very useful in situations where people might be trying to send mental messages that you are not welcoming, or things that are invasive or intrusive or vampiric, because it will also kind of give a bit of the poison toad effect to any energies that are being stolen from you. And I personally don't mind if a bunch of dysregulated psychic vampires think I have bad energy because they tried to drain it from me and it came up poisoned and sour for them. That's totally cool with me. If I want to share my energy, if I want to give my energy, then I will, of course, be giving it in a much more loving and supportive and complimentary way. But if you're going to try and take something like that by force from me, I don't care what you're going through, it's going to come up poisoned. That's how I roll. This is going to be the perfect tool for anyone who's looking to catch and send back a curse, a jinx, a hex, again, cords, psychic vampirism, with a bit of a twist. So we've got our bottle. And so what you're going to need, bare bones. Of course, your petition, your intention salt. This is my working salt. Cayenne pepper, more chilies, and tacks. Now, you don't need to use tacks. You could always substitute nails, or if you happen to have broken glass lying around, or screws, that's fine. Just something sharp and stabby. And that's basically the bare bones of what you're going to need for this. And so for the beginning, we're going to work with the bare bones and then build on that. I've also got some clear quartz here that I'm going to be adding as an amplifier. And since this is supposed to be a rattle, when we add the tacks and the quartz, it's going to give more of that rattle kind of sound. So I like that. So first what we want to do is we want to cleanse our tools, cleanse our instruments. You can always wash your bottle and the lid and your crystals with sea salt and water. Or the night before you do your working, you can put your crystals and your bottle in a bowl of salt and let that sit overnight. And that will draw out any of the old energies or any things you don't want to go into your working. That's fine too. We're also going to need a candle for charging. So I'm using a black candle here, and you can use a red candle. I definitely recommend for something like this, you want to go hard, go black or red. So first, I'm going to get some of my intention paper into the smoke. There we go. From the sage I just sent on the little container there. So intention. Let's talk about the intention, right? Your intention is the program for your spell. So what do I have written down? All afflicting, antagonizing, cursing, belligerent, chaotic, condemning, controlling, deceptive, despotic, entropic, draining, entrapping, controlling, invasive, insidious, infecting, manipulative, obstructive, oppressive, endangering, impoverishing, parasitic, vampiric, and void-aligned forces, energies, entities, wills, constructs, and works of all kinds be now shaken apart, shaken off, shattered into shards, confused, rattled, and shot back upon and into their true sources as stinging, burning, bitter, frightful, and vexing bane, stuck deep, until all such efforts against me cease. And that's it. I have some more written in here, but that's for me personally, right? You got to personalize it a little bit. But that pretty much runs the gamut, right? That covers everything. And I'm not sure if I left anything out. Make sure that you don't if you can. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my intention paper and I'm going to fold it up and get it real good and small. And add it to my bottle here. I'm going to add some salt, and not a whole lot, just like 3 teaspoons. We've got our tacks. And again, you don't have to use tacks like thumbtacks like I have. I recommend avoiding the ones with the plastic ends if you can, but whatever works. You could use needles, you could use nails. I like these metal tacks because they also have this mirror back to them, right? And so we've also got a bit of a reflecting return to sender kind of vibe here. And so I like to put in 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And the reason I like 9 is because you've got the whole 3x3 thing going for you, but it also invokes the 9 of Swords energy. I want whatever is attacking me or imposing its will or intentions in any kind of controlling or manipulative, draining, or afflicting, or antagonizing way to be put through absolute hell, spiritually and mentally and emotionally. Very 9 of Swords. It's also going to mess with their energy a lot because this is also sending back what they are sending to me, just broken up and reworked in a way that's going to be baleful to them. And so that 9 tacks, 9 of Swords, really does help get that going. I'm going to add my crystals now, and I'm not going to program the quartz before I put them in because they're going to be programmed as part of the spell. And then I'm going to be adding chilies to give it the heat. Also, chilies work really well to banish and drive away unwanted entities, unwanted spirits, unwanted wills, unwanted projections. So something that's also going to, again, give a bit of a punch to this, make sure that it hits extra hard. And then cayenne pepper. Woo. And the cayenne pepper is there to shake off and burn off any residual energies that might be a bit more stubborn. It's also really good at removing any kind of jinxes or curses. It's also used in a lot of return to sender works as well. And that's your bare bones. This is going to work for most things that most people are going to be dealing with or need. After getting the bare bones in, I like to also add some lemon peel. And you guys know I use lemon peel in a lot of my protection works. Lemon peel is used in a lot of cord cutting work as well as contract breaking. So anything that's going to cut ties or attachments. And so I want that in there too, just to not only make it a cleaner break from whoever or whatever I'm sending all of this back at and throwing all this back at and counterattacking, but also to snap and sever any ties they might be trying to attach when they're doing that work. Bay leaves, mustard seeds, black mustard seeds or brown mustard seeds, And so this is for the confusion aspect. Black and brown mustard seeds are one of the chief traditional ingredients in a lot of inflammatory confusion spells, which not only confuse your enemy, but it's going to also cause a lot of their own energy bodies, their own energy systems to freak out, to go on the fritz, might cause them to get belligerent wherever they are, kind of freak out, incriminate themselves, start doing all kinds of weird, outlandish things, starting fights, creating scenes, just kind of rile them up, cause them to lose their concentration and focus on you, and maybe even make bigger problems for themselves to deal with than whatever they're trying to impose on you. Calamus. So Calamus root is a commanding root. It sends a message that you are basically commanding the receiver to get. So in this case, it's back the hell up. Back the F off. This is happening because of what you are doing. This will stop as soon as you stop. And that's the way I would, probably word that. It's like, look, this is going to keep going so long as you keep doing it. Right? Because if anyone asks what's going to happen to so-and-so, what's going to happen if somebody does this, if they leave you alone, nothing. Some instant coffee. And you might be wondering, what am I doing with some instant coffee? Why do I got instant coffee in here? So instant coffee, I like to use in certain spells to help people quickly come to their senses. Again, gain that awareness of what's going on. Hey, master yourself. It's also going to speed up the work, right? Make it move faster. Give it that shot of caffeine. So that's also why that's in there. So I don't think we've left anything out as far as our bases to cover as far as dry herbs are concerned. Now again, this is another spot where if this is extra enough for you, you're good to go. But we're going to go a step further. So I also like to add some oils. And depending on what you have access to, what you can afford, what's available, you don't have to. Like I said, you don't have to use oils. In fact, you can substitute these oils here, the clove bud and the lime, with just dried lime peel, or even dried clove powder or clove buds themselves. You don't have to go all the way on this. But I'm using the lime because I found that lime can be very helpful in making my energy, 9 drops, in making my energy taste bitter to people trying to drain my energy. It makes them not like me, but it also makes them sick whenever they try to drain me. And so I want that in there. Lime is used in a lot of works to sow bitterness and sourness in a lot of situations. But for this is about souring and embittering the vampiric experience, right? Somebody draining energy, somebody trying to pull energy from me. What they're going to get a taste of is something bitter, something burning, something stabbing, something sour, and that's really what I want them to get. And then the clove, it wouldn't be a Nico spell without clove. Clove is good for return to sender. I would do 9. There we go. Clove is good for return to sender. It's good for general protection and also driving away hostile entities as well. So amping, 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 amping. Put your lid back on. Shake it up first. Give it a preliminary shake. Get those herbs and oils and salts and tacks and everything all good and mixed. And it's time to get ready to charge. Okay, so now we're going to charge up our candle. So I've carved into my candle first my symbols that I want on my candle. And I don't know if you can see that there. So I've got, of course, the symbol of Bast, one of her symbols. You can use an Ankh, or I did the Eye of Ra. She was born out of the Eye of Ra, so that's her symbol as well. Got the Triscally, of course, for Bridget in the middle. And Hearn's antlers down here on the bottom. So this is for me and my deities. I have a relationship with them. If you are working with your own deities, use their symbols. You can use runes like these. Thorn, hail, need. They will add power to your spell. So what do we want to anoint this with? So I've got a special blend that I'm going to be using that I'm not going to be sharing in this video, because I think it's important that we all keep secrets. But we can talk about what you can use and then decide for yourself, and then you'll have your own secret. I'm going to tell you what you can use for the same effect. I think we all have to keep some of our secrets as practitioners, especially when you're doing a whole thing like this on a video. You can make your own blend of powder and just rub your candle down with olive oil and then roll it in the powder. Rub it down with olive oil, and then roll it in some of the cayenne pepper and some black pepper and even garlic powder. That would be great. You could totally do that. But when it comes to anointing your candle, this is the part where you want it to be as personal as possible. For the oils you might want to choose to anoint your candle, you could use a garlic oil. You could make your own blend of olive oil, like a little half a cup of olive oil and a couple of drops of the clove and the lime that we used earlier. You could use a condition oil. If you have condition oils, like a High John oil, a go away oil, a banishing oil, victory oil, protection oil, fiery wall oil, all of those things work too. You don't need a chime candle like this if you don't have one. You could always substitute a tea light and then just write your symbols on the edge of the tea light or carve it into the top of it. Put your oils and herbs on top, however you want to do that. But here we are. So I'm going to wash my hands from all the oil. And we're going to then charge this up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to demonstrate what I would do in this given situation. I'm not going to actually charge and cast and do all of this on camera, but we're going to go through the motions here for you. So I call upon the goddess Bridget, the goddess of the flame and the forge, the goddess of holy waters and holy wells, of truth and justice, of battle, of the hearth, of peace, of poets and augurs, of light and luminance. I call upon you, O patron, O mother, beloved Bridget. Hail and welcome. Be here with me now. I offer you whiskey in thanks and in love. Receive this well, beloved Bridget. I call forth my beloved Bast, O beautiful goddess of cats, O divine daughter of Ra, the slayer of demons, like Apep, Apophis. I call upon you, O beloved great goddess Bast, to clear all interference from this place. Slash and gnash them with your claws and teeth. Let your all-seeing eye pierce the hearts of mine enemies. Be here with me, O beautiful, graceful, divine goddess Bast. Hail and welcome. I call upon you and offer you this whiskey in thanks and in love. Receive it well. I call upon Hearn, Cernunnos, great horned god, leader of the wild hunt, champion and lover, master of the woods. I call upon you to join me here and now. Lend the strength of the trees, the stones, and the very foundations of the earth itself to this spell. And I call upon your riders of the wild hunt to add and fortify strength and power and potency to this great work. And may your brilliance and your keen senses ever be present in my life and in my workings. Hail and welcome, beloved. Have some whiskey. And now that everyone's here, Gonna get my energy all ready and good to go. We're all here. I ask that you all unify with me and to assist me with the charging, amplifying, correcting, perfecting, and directing of this energy, this power, and this great work. May our unified divine force of magic consume and saturate this candle and its oils, its symbols, this bottle, everything I've written upon, my intentions, my prayers, these crystals, herbs, and oils, these stones, everything be now consumed and saturated and transformed in the divine cosmic essence that is our unified force. And I call this all forth right now to the maximum power and the maximum potency necessary to get the job done perfectly every time. Okay. I'm just going to light the candle. And this is just something I do with my working altar candles and things like that. You can, of course, use matches or whatever you have. It's fine. And then you're just going to let that burn down, all the way down, and you've got yourself a Wrath Rattle.